We did not sell anything for like 3 months.
Really?
Well, on the getaway gear. And then suddenly we accidentally found like our niche, our thing. Yeah.
Like Etsy can like go 0 to 100
Yep.
really fast. What if I told you the opportunity on Etsy is better now than ever before? In today's case study, we're going to pull back the curtain on a local friend of mine who has been able to build not one, but 2 thriving Etsy shops in the past 6 months, had over 400 sales, and has been doing it all on his own favorite family passions. I'm so excited. Jared, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks, man. It's great to be here.
So good. Tell us, before we dive into the Etsy shops, I think the coolest part of hearing people's Etsy shop story is like what their day job is. Like, I have so many friends that are curious about Etsy and think they're too busy and just everything. Tell me about your family, your day job. You also have 3 kids.
I do.
As myself. Like that is
keeps you busy by itself. Yeah.
A badge of honor.
Yeah.
So tell us all about yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So actually I feel like I have 1,000 jobs, but my main job, I'm actually an executive pastor at a church, at a local church.
Incredible.
But my passion is I just like to make stuff. So sometimes that stuff that I like to make is like, HR policies for a church or like spreadsheets.
I love that you love that.
Right. It works out really well. But, I'm a graphic designer. It's my background as well. And so I like to make stuff just for my family all the time. I have for years. And so you can relate to that, I'm sure. Like, if we have like a family trip or something, I'm going to design a t-shirt.
How can I make this extra?
Yeah. How can I make this like extra special? And I'm going to make something that's like just for my kids or just for my wife.
Yes.
And so that's been our relationship for like the last decade in our family. And at some point we were like, why aren't we selling some of this stuff on Etsy that, is not just something that our family enjoys, but someone else might enjoy.
Yeah.
So we launched our Etsy shop like 6 months ago, our first one, and honestly didn't think anyone would buy anything because we have other real jobs. We were not looking for more jobs to do.
Sure.
And so
when you started, did you have any sort of goal other than like the curiosity of like, wonder what would happen?
I mean, it was one of those things where it was like, it would be nice if we had a little extra income from something like Etsy. But honestly, I was pretty skeptical. My wife was very optimistic. I was pretty skeptical. I was like, is someone actually going to buy this?
Yeah.
And they do. It turns out
it's like crazy.
You say a second ago that it's not too late to jump in. It really hasn't been for us.
Yeah.
It's been a great time where we found our niche and it turns out a lot of other people are interested in the same kind of stuff.
Yeah. Now, with your shop, you do print on demand.
Yes, we do.
And digital downloads.
Yep.
Which we're going to have to talk about because it's such a debate, with our like little phase of the internet, we kind of have like 3 tracks and you either gravitate to one or another and sometimes like layer them in.
Yeah.
A lot can do physical.
Yep.
Then there's print on demand, which I love. And of course, digital, which is probably the highest profit, least amount of legwork, like easy delivery, which is so fun. When you were doing the research, what led you to pretty much say print on demand is the starting point?
Well, like I said, we weren't trying to create a full-time job for myself or my wife. And so we were really looking at what would be the lowest barrier to entry for us. And a lot of that was cost. Yeah. Right? Like we sell shirts. So if you have, 3 different shirts, colors, and you have to stock them in every kind of size, your inventory quickly gets gigantic.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't do that. Yeah. And so we were looking at the print on demand options as really the only way. Without that, it wouldn't have been possible for us.
Sure.
And it seems like that's probably the case for a lot of people.
Yeah. A lot of my clients that we have actually coached and helped, they get so busy with local orders that they never have time to kind of take on the thought of selling to strangers.
Yeah.
And I believe, and I would love to know your thought too, I believe selling to strangers is the most rewarding and easiest thing
so fun
to do.
Yeah, it is.
Like you're not having to like awkwardly have a conversation with your aunt or your third cousin.
Yeah.
You're able to list something, do really great research, and let the algorithm see what happens.
Yep. 100%.
So you went print on demand.
We did.
What was your how did it feel getting it set up? Like, was it overwhelming? Was it simple for you?
It was a task.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not something you can just like sit down and do having never done it before.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit. And so we carved out a weekend where my wife and I were like, we're just going to knock this out. And one step at a time. I think they're all pretty good. We use Printful.
Yeah.
And we've really liked it. They're probably very similar.
Yeah, very similar.
It just walks you through like step 1, step 2, step 3, connect your bank account, create your listings, set up your design or whatever. Yeah. And there was an experiment period, right? So like we set all this up And if I go back to the listings that we made even 5 months ago, I would do it completely differently now because I've learned a lot. Right?
But you didn't know what you didn't know.
Exactly right. So the only way you learn is just by doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And so it really wasn't bad. We just had to carve out the time to do it.
Yeah. I love to ask people when we're talking about their startup period, because I was recently coaching last week my clients building shops, and I'm like, okay, it is common that you do a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then you like look around and you're like, I don't see any fruit of it yet.
Yep.
And you feel like it's, the messy middle is kind of like what I've been calling it. What was that like for you after you laid the foundation? How long did it take for you to see any sort of like traction, or what did that look like?
We did not sell anything for like 3 months.
Really?
Well, on the getaway gear, on the vacation apparel site,
on your first shop.
That's a very competitive space to be in. There's so many people, especially for Disney.
Yeah.
And initially we were like, we love Disney. Let's make some Disney stuff. Well, it's super competitive.
Right.
And so for like 3 months, we sold like 3 things, like one thing a month.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, then we're not going to invest any time into this. Like we have already made it and it's going on its own, but like, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time. And then suddenly we accidentally found like our niche, our thing.
Yes.
And the thing ended up for us being there's a new theme park that's opening, and we happened to be going there in September. Again, made stuff for our family, listed it on Etsy. And then there are no other sellers in the space. And
you're so fast to jump on it.
Yes. And so we just happened to be first, and with designs that no one else had then and no one has now still. And so that has served us really well.
I really think if you can be at the pulse of a TikTok trend, or like a park opening, or just what people are actually looking for. Like what is the trend of today? Like Etsy can like go 0 to 100 really fast, which I think is, interesting with print on demand. You're not having to do a ton of testing. You're not having to try a bunch of stuff. I think it's such a blessing that like anyone watching can go home tonight, make a listing, make a design, and see what happens. You're not having to invest $50 into doing a test project. Like you can literally throw some stuff out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I personally love about it, is like so much curiosity.
Well, and the best stuff too is it's born out of your own creativity, right?
Yeah.
So it's like when you have something where there are 1,000, 10,000 designs on Canva already.
Sure.
What would not be exciting is to just take something that's already there and just throw it up on a print-on-demand product. But when you can bring something of yourself to it and you create something that you love and you're like, I want to have this.
Yeah.
Right? That's where I think the magic is, and where other people see the passion. They see it in the work and they're like, oh, this is a unique product that I haven't seen before. And you can tell someone cares about it.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference.
What would you say for creatives? Because we have a lot of hobby creatives that may not, you obviously have done this for a long time professionally as a graphic designer and all the amazing creative stuff that you do at your job, which I think gives maybe people watching at home a little bit more validation of like, oh, of course this guy can do it. What would you say for people that are hobbyists, like just like yourself, like they love creating for their family, they love creating. What would you say was a big switch that at some point maybe in your career you had to go through to be like, you know what? I could charge for this, or you know what? I could get paid for this to be my full-time job. Like, what would you say for people that are kind of like on the edge of like, would people buy this? Is this good enough? Like,
I know.
How did you overcome that?
Well, I think for me, I would give 2 pieces of advice to that. One is you got to find your unfair advantage.
Yes.
What is the thing that you can do that most people can't?
Yeah.
And more than likely, there's some skill that you have or some passion that you have that if you just took an honest look at the people, your friends and family, 97% of them could not replicate.
Yeah.
Like you're the only one of the people that you know who can really do that thing. That's your unfair advantage, and you can market that. Like, that's something that you can turn into revenue in some way or another. The other thing is you got to surround yourself with people who, when you're not courageous enough, they can give you that push.
Yeah.
And so, in my example, like with our Etsy shops, that was my wife, Jill. She was like, Jared, why aren't you selling this stuff? No one wants it. Yes, they do.
Go Jill.
That's
Shout
right.
out to
So
Jill.
having an advocate, someone who, is encouraging you to put in the effort, because these things do take effort. And that's why, there's that barrier to entry. You have to decide you want to try.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to effort, because I think this is fascinating.
Yeah.
You have 3 kids. You have all your day jobs.
So many things going on.
How much time, realistically, from the time you started in October, what did it look like on a weekly basis, bi-weekly basis? I don't know how you would judge it, of time putting in.
I mean, there's a lot of upfront time, right? Yeah. So like when you're getting it set up.
But how much did you spend?
Yeah. I mean, maybe to get it all going, the first time we did it, like 12 hours.
12 hours.
Total.
Okay.
Just to get it all set up. You know, the listings, Canva, thumbnails, like all that kind of stuff. This is everything, right? The second shop we launched, which is Millennial Scribe, which is, we haven't really talked about, but digital goods.
Yes.
Digital notebooks. We probably spent half the time, 6 hours, because we were already familiar.
You already did it once.
Right? We already knew what to do. Yeah. And I would say nowadays on a weekly basis, you know, I'm probably spending a couple of hours a week here and there, just, you know, making sure orders are getting fulfilled. If people have messages they're sending us, if we have something personalized, and then my wife's doing the same thing. So she's probably spending double or triple the amount of time I am, maybe 6 hours a week.
Cool.
Yeah. So really not too bad, because it is print on demand. We're really just doing customer service. Yeah. And then the thing that I'm really paying attention to is the business and the marketing, like constantly updating the stuff. So like during my lunch break today, I updated thumbnails for one of our listings. It was like, I don't think this is working as well anymore. Let's try something different.
Yeah.
Spent, 15 minutes doing that.
So crazy.
Yeah.
So let's go back to when you started seeing traction.
Yeah.
Like when you started seeing the tractions, how was it? I think this is one of the most rewarding parts where you could be like, you've done all this base work. You've laid this, what I would call it, like a really solid foundation.
Yeah.
And you're able to then be at the park with your kids or like anything like that and start seeing orders come in. How was that for you and Jill?
I mean, that makes it so worth it, right? So I think that moment really started, like I said, we didn't make any sales for our first few months, and it was kind of discouraging.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you almost just say, let's shut it down. Let's give up. Like this space is too crowded. And I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad we hung in there, because when we were about halfway through, like 3 months in, we suddenly started getting traction. And then when you're just, exactly what you're saying, at the grocery store or at the zoo, and you start seeing orders just coming in, you're like, oh my gosh, we're making money while we're sleeping.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening? And it's very exciting. It's just, it's fun, especially when it is something you care about, when it's not just a revenue stream, but it's something that you've enjoyed and you've put some of your own self into.
And is the park that you have been designing for, did they just open? Is this what I'm seeing people do?
This park, speaking of, is Epic Universe. It opens May 22nd of 2025.
Okay.
So as of this day, our recording day, it's still a month out.
Okay.
But we're in that like media
pre-launch
season,
right?
Okay. So people you can buy tickets. People are planning their vacations. So the hype is building.
This is good.
Yeah.
I think this is so important for people to think about, like, what is going on in their own life?
Yep.
Where are they vacationing?
Yep.
What are they excited about? Like, that is probably could be the lowest hanging fruit for someone.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Because I'm such a firm believer in like thoughtful design. That's sort of, if I were to distill like my whole professional career, that phrase is like, you just can't underestimate the value of thoughtfulness, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's so powerful. And when you put your work, when you do something thoughtfully, maybe it's research, like you're saying, it just shows.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think it's not only something that shows up in the art, but it's something that shows up in the business practice side of it too. So for us, we were excited about taking this family vacation, and then it, we happened to have our finger on a pulse.
Do you think you'll have made enough profit to like say you paid for your whole trip?
We already have. I mean,
heck yeah!
If we could say that today. So we're at the point now.
But like by the time you get to your vacation in September, like that's gonna be so cool.
Yeah. I mean, and what's really cool is because the park that we're talking about, Epic Universe in particular, has been in like trial season where they're having their employees test out the products and the rides and that kind of thing. We're getting messages from Universal employees frequently of like, hey, I have been wearing this in the park, and like everyone wants to know where I've got it. And so, and that has been helpful, because we're trying to understand where's the line of artful interpretation versus copyright. Yes. And we're trying to be on the most conservative, safest side of that. So like, we're not putting characters into our designs, right? Like, we're just saying, what are we inspired by from this amazing thing that someone else has built, and let's create our own artwork from it.
Okay, this brings up a big part that I think a lot of my friends at home would love to ask. So I'll ask, how have you, between reading Etsy policy, copyright law, like how has that been? Because for so many of us, we let the fear of what ifs keep us from even researching it and looking into it. So have you discovered anything interesting? Is there any like creative copyright things that you've explored in this process to test? Like, how has that been?
Well, definitely it reads to me like if it's something that someone else made, you shouldn't use it.
Yeah.
That's just sort of an easy baseline policy.
Easy.
Right? Easy, low hanging fruit. So like there are a lot of promotional images that Universal has put out that I have seen Etsy sellers take and put on t-shirts. We're not going to do that.
They're
because
lazy.
It looks like from the policy, I didn't make that image.
Yeah.
Someone else made it. In this case, a very massive multi-billion-dollar, media conglomerate that I do not want to get in trouble with.
Don't want to compete with.
Yeah, that's right. But it does seem like, if I draw my own drawing of Mickey Mouse, it sounds like there might be some wiggle room there.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what that looks like. I'm certainly not like a copyright lawyer.
Yeah.
But I would feel more comfortable with something that I made than, something that someone else created.
So cool. Yeah.
So, I mean, I like to play it safe. I'm going to stay away from characters in the future. I'm not going to do any character work.
Yeah. I feel like they're, these big conglomerates, they're just paying firms to be like,
I've heard enough horror stories from that.
Yeah, it's enough.
So I think if you are just like, I'm going to just do my own stuff and sell my own work, I think you probably don't have to worry about a whole lot. And then it sounds like that worst case scenario tends to be takedown notices.
Yes.
Which is not a big deal.
All things we can get through.
You can work through a takedown notice. So
I love it.
Yeah.
So this is your first shop. Now, you told me it took 3 months to get traction.
Yeah, it did.
So we're at December. But you also say December is when you launched your second shop.
So when we started seeing traction from the first shop, we were like, okay, let's try this. Let's try the second shop. Why not?
How did you actually decide to start a second shop?
It's the same deal. So I have a remarkable writing tablet, like one of those writing tablets, right? It's not the only kind.
So
there are a lot of these different kinds of things.
Sure. And they're made, like you'd also use like an iPad, like people do that.
Right. Yeah. And so I was, again, looking for I want my own planner. I want my own project management template or whatever. And there just wasn't anything on Etsy like what I was looking to find.
Yeah.
So again, I was like, well, I'll just make one myself. And then once again, my wife was like, Jared, why don't you sell this? So you can see a pattern here, right?
I love that.
And so we listed that in December. Once we started seeing a few sales coming in particular at that time for cruise ship products we were making on Getaway Gear. And so that was enough of an encouragement where we thought, all right, we know what we're doing a little bit. Let's just try it.
Okay.
And so we launched Millennial Scribe, and it's digital notebooks. So these are interactive PDFs, which means they have links in them. Like you can write on them, but then there is navigation. So you can tap if you're in a daily, for example, a daily planner, you can tap on my goals button or April or August.
It's popping you to a different page.
And it's taking you to a different page. So it's interactive, but you're still writing on it.
Love it.
Right. So we made a couple of these, put it on the shop immediately because, December is prime time for that kind of product. People are like, I'm going to go into January. I'm going to go into the new year and be so productive. And so we knew that. And we were like, if we're going to launch it, it has to be
before January 1st or probably before Christmas.
And exactly what you would expect. We had if you were to chart it out, December was pretty good. January skyrocketed on that shop. And so most of our sales on that shop came in between January 1st and probably February 20th.
Amazing.
Is the window for most of those sales. Yeah. And so and that one they're all digital products. So you're talking, after you do all your fees subtraction, it's 86% profit margin.
Oh my!
Right. So you just set it.
Incredible.
And you're good.
Yes.
And on that one, the customer service is so easy because we've made we used Canva to make a guide.
Love it.
So when people get their product, whatever notebook they bought, they're also getting this beautiful document that we've made that just walks them through how to install it and how to use it. Because they may be unfamiliar with that process.
They probably just bought the device they're buying this template for.
It seems like we did a pretty good job making that instruction because we don't get a whole lot of people reaching out to us.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. I'm like, listen, you're talking about these clickable PDFs.
Yeah.
That sounds
you have to provide
a little
some kind of help.
frustrating.
Yes.
Or just room for error.
Yes, that's right. And so what's helpful is Amazon, there's it's called the Kindle Scribe. It's the same deal.
Yeah.
So we sell for that. And they have their own YouTube video of here's how you install
and
a
you can
PDF.
link those resources.
We just link them. So easy,
good.
Right? It's already there. Amazon made it. And so we've just pulled those resources together and put them in a guide.
So incredible.
Yeah.
Now, with your two shops, pricing drama is a big thing we coach people on, talk to people about. How has it been for you pricing any of your items?
Yeah.
Do you stick to just what you want profit wise when it comes to print on demand? Is it, I'm sure digital is probably a little bit more flexible and different.
Yeah.
Well, how's that been?
The digital is so easy. It's you don't even have to think about it. So what I tend to do is I tend to go onto Etsy. So I'm going to talk about just digital first.
Okay.
I go to Etsy and I will look for similar kinds of products.
Yeah.
So if I'm making a project management notebook, I'm going to search for that on Etsy and see what other shops are pricing theirs at. And then I tend to price a little bit higher than average on that shop because my customer, when I'm thinking through who like my ideal customer is, they tend to be someone in the professional space. They have a little bit more income, and they're thinking through not just like what's a good product, what's an adequate product, but they're looking for the best product, right? And so I think even I'm going to get more sales by pricing it a little bit higher because they're going to assume the value proposition is higher on that product too. So I am not trying to make an average or even lowball on that store. So I'm going to go like 75th percentile on that one, right? So that's how I price that one. Is totally value-based for what I think the customer would value it because my profit is 86%.
Sure.
I don't have to even think about it.
Sure.
It's totally different on Getaway.
Print on demand.
Print on demand is just challenging.
Yeah.
So we subscribe to because we're with Printful. We have their they call it Printful Growth.
Yes.
You pay $25 a month, and they basically give you like preferential rates on it.
And just for everyone watching at home, if you're on Printly, Printify, they all have a similar one. Pick whichever one you want.
That's right.
We use the opposite. We use the other one. You use Printly.
I use Printful. Printful. Yeah.
I use Printly. Whatever.
Why do they all have the word print? Like,
I know.
Get creative, guys,
it's crazy, but they all have a similar something other. So you subscribe to that.
I find that it's
worth
like
it.
once your volume gets high enough, it's so worth it. It's way like per shirt now we make $2 more, per sale. So $25, 13 shirts, that adds up by itself, right? Yeah. So anyway, that has helped us to get that down. What we're really looking at there is exactly what you said. What is our ideal profit margin that we can hit? Like, what is in terms of dollars? What would this be worth to me to sell? It makes it a lot harder because there are sellers who they have inventory. They're able to get their costs lower. Yeah. And if you try to compete on price, we have just found you're not going to be able to pay your bills. Worth it. Like, it's just not worth it. Yeah. Right? So we tend to, my original strategy was let's try to sell at double the materials cost. Okay. Just because that seemed like an average rule of thumb for a wholesale retailer. Yes. What we have found is that doesn't cover enough of our overhead. So we actually can't do double. We have to sell at like, we're looking
even higher.
Even higher. Yes.
Love it.
So if our t-shirt costs $7 on the print on demand, we're going to try to sell that at $20.
Yeah.
So a little bit more than double.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I love print on demand, and just for so many people at home that like I've coached and helped sell their crafts in general. Yeah. When you get an order without having print on demand, you're getting the order. Yeah. Then you're having to go to Walmart.
Yeah, I know.
Pick up the shirts.
All the supplies, yeah.
And then make the shirts.
Yep.
And then either meet the person because they're local.
Yep.
Or ship do all the shipping.
Yeah.
For $7 to $12.
Not worth it.
The Printify provider is going to do it all for you.
I know.
It's like giving yourself like a true promotion.
Yeah.
Like what I love about this is that you truly get to be the creative director you are.
It's the only way you can scale too, because if you're selling on Etsy and you're making everything on your own, more than likely your profits are slim enough that you're never going to be able to, build a huge system.
Sure.
But if you do print on demand, if you're outsourcing those pieces, it's your scalability is infinite. It's incredible.
Here's what I've noticed. We order quite a bit of our own stuff for testing purpose and friends and gifts and all the things, as most of us do. The quality is still really good.
Yeah.
And for us, we test our print providers like before we use them. And it's so fruitful to, you get to stay in your zone of genius. Yep. They get to stay in their zone of genius. The customer probably gets a better product.
They really do. Yeah.
Which is incredible.
I mean, you think about like any of these print-on-demand companies can do full color screen prints, which 5 years ago was basically impossible.
Correct.
Like, you could not find a supplier to do this, and you certainly couldn't do it at home.
Yeah.
And so now the fact that I don't even have to think about how many color inks are in this design, and $7. I mean, this is incredible. Like, how do you do this?
And the embroidery stuff is so trendy, and they're getting like their embroidery with it. I'm like, they have the ability to make one embroidered shirt for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
just
what?
One. Yeah.
Just one.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the magic that I think is such an opportunity. And I don't know how much you've researched this element, but a lot of people on Etsy that I've been on for years, they're really against this new era of Etsy.
Yeah. So on all the subreddits that I'm in for Etsy sellers, I see a lot of the hate against print on demand. But honestly, I think it's
a new
worth
evolution.
It is. It's just the next. It's a different kind of product.
Yes.
Right. I think every kinds of product has its own value.
Yes.
Handmade stuff, it's very important on Etsy.
So important.
But the fact that this is possible, that someone can design a design and sell a shirt that they didn't have to, do all this work. It's incredible.
And I really think there's something to Etsy that the quality of buyer is not a Walmart buyer, is not a Target buyer, is not Amazon.
Yeah.
Like when you're on Etsy, you are ready for something to be so unique that is only go be probably the only one in your area.
Yep.
And that's what they're going after. And that's why you can get paid $45 for a sweatshirt. Or, sometimes people our customers charge $50. Like we've been able to sell anything like that. And it's just a no-brainer, and people will buy multiple. Our first buyer was from Italy. And
That's amazing. They
bought two cow sweatshirts.
Okay, so let's talk about, you mentioned Italy.
Yes.
So VAT. Like the first time I had to ship to Europe, I was freaked out. I was like,
our first
how do I do this? Do I need to write like on the package? Like, how do I pay the tariffs? And so, but
you just figure it out.
You just figure it out. And it's really not as scary as it sounds.
No.
It's like, I can handle this.
Yeah. It's so crazy.
And so many of those things are actually automated.
1,000%.
These suppliers, they have figured it out.
They want it to be figured out because they don't have time to wait around for us.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So when it comes to your Etsy shops, what do you want to do now?
Yeah.
Like, what's next for your Etsy shops?
It's kind of still a hobby for us. It's something that we're doing on the side. It's gotten to the point now where we're seeing enough traction. We're hoping that it can be something that my wife manages and that it sort of serves in like a job for her.
Sure.
It's a source of income for her. But it's still being able to just make something that is handcrafted. So, the designs at least are something that we've made ourselves. And we'd love to be able to do more of them and figure out what are our Getaway Gear shop is all about celebrating experiences.
Yeah.
I'm really big into experiences. I think we live in this materialistic world and there's something to be said of doing something with the people you love, going to new places, seeing new things. And so being able to make gear that is unique to you and unique to that fun,
such a fun name.
Your family saved up
let's go.
to go, together and it was worth that. Let's create something to memorialize that and that you can just hold on to as a souvenir that you didn't pick up at some random shop.
Yeah,
in the park, or on the island, or whatever.
Way overpriced.
It's way overpriced and so generic, and a million other people have it. Well, it's something that's just you, something that was special to you.
Now, with this shop, are you noticing that people are buying multiples?
Yeah, that's very popular.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's good.
We had a guy on the way over here. I got an order, and so we have this series of shirts that each one of them, it's for Epic Universe, and each one of them is one of the 5 portals. So just one of them, and it has a quote that the portal has on it. It's like on the shirt. It's a brand new one we just made this weekend. And so we had one guy order all 5 of these.
Stop it.
And it's the same size and color. And so Jill called me on the way over, and she was like, I think he bought them for himself. I was like, 100% he did, right?
Wait, and you listed it just this weekend?
This weekend, yeah. Yeah.
Guys, stop sleeping on your listings. And I believe, this is one of my philosophies about Etsy, is that as you grow your Etsy shop, every single one of your listings that are successful and in the search algorithm, because for this to really scale, you have to be in the algorithm, you have to be in search, and that's how this starts to make sense. So I really think of every successful listing as another successful leg to build a really stable business.
So
I think that's the secret. For you to list a new listing this weekend, for it to either get in search or the guy was already obsessed with your shop or whatever, that's the secret sauce, you know?
Yes. Well, and what we have found too with the listing stuff is so many listings just look the same. So if we do a lot of research, I'm sure you do too, right? Yeah. So I'm in the Etsy shirt search bar
all the time,
multiple times a week.
Yeah.
And so I'll go in there and let's just say you typed in matching cruise family shirt.
Yes.
They all look, even if the designs are different, the thumbnails look the same. And it your eyeballs just sort of cross. You're I don't even know what I'm looking at anymore. And so for us, again, when we started seeing traction is we were how can we stand out? As a thumbnail, if I'm looking at a grid of, I don't know how many they show you, but let's say it's 30 at once. If I'm looking at a grid of 30, what would make ours like draw your attention? And we found that. And
love it.
And so
once you have something working and it's converting,
duplicate it.
You just keep doing it.
You just keep doing it. And then on our digital notebook shop, Millennial Scribe, there's this guy who's made a notebook called Daybook, and it's like a planner. And once he created that and the thumbnail for that, everyone copied it because it's phenomenal. It looks so good. And I like want to copy it, but I'm not going to because I respect him too much. But it's like you see how someone identified a trend or a potential trend.
Yes.
And it just is like, this makes it stand out. This makes a difference.
Good.
So for us, I think that's really mattered, not just in the algorithm, but even thinking from like a human perspective. If I'm looking at a grid of little squares, what would make mine pop? Yeah, out of the crowd.
Love it.
Yeah.
Now, have you taken advantage of Etsy's sales feature? Have you ran any promotions?
Yeah, we actually are running one right now.
Okay.
And so this is in the last 2 days we've started it. And so now we're seeing like,
more views, more conversions.
A lot more views.
Yeah.
And some more sales for sure.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Do you think this will be something you add in consistently or
I think strategically,
playing around with? Yeah.
Yeah. So actually when we started seeing the first big wave of sales, again, those first couple months we saw none for our vacation shop. And then Etsy has the group sale. What do they call it? Like, it's like site-wide sales.
Yes.
And Black Friday was one of them, and Cyber Monday. And so we're like,
involved. You're like, okay,
why not? We're not selling any. Might as well. Let's just try it. And that's when we started seeing the traction.
That's
when it began.
So
it really does help, I think, to do that kind of stuff.
Totally.
Jill has watched a lot of YouTube videos on like how to structure your titles so that you're really getting the broadest reach on the search algorithm. And it was she actually this weekend like reprimanded me. It's counter what I think, because like the way I would title stuff is like, if I'm design a shirt and it's really specific, let's say to a particular cruise ship, I'm going to put the name of the cruise ship at the beginning, like, Star of the Sea, brand new, whatever. And she's like, no. Like no one's searching for that. Like you need to start as broad as possible. And then as it goes on, you can get more specific. And she's been right. Like as we've updated those titles, it seems like we're getting a lot more sales, a lot more views.
It's hard I love to always articulate this back to one of my first craft blogs was a teen craft blog.
Okay.
So if Courtney and I were writing an article, we would call it Teen Crafts.
Okay.
Well, as we were building this blog, we realized that teenagers are not looking for teen crafts.
Yeah.
But do you want to know who is? People that are not teens trying to get teens to craft. So crafts for teens was such a higher search term. We
like parents who are like, I need something constructive for my child to do.
Yes. So it's like as soon as you make that switch, educators and all the people that care about these teenagers start searching and finding it. And that was a huge pivot for us. That's and ever since then, it like always puts me back into like, okay, I'm sitting down on Pinterest, on, Etsy. Yeah. How would I want to find this listing?
Yes.
What are the words I'm using? And it's like such a pivot in our coaching program. We've been talking a lot about like, do you include the brand shirt in the title? Do you not? Where does that lie? Like,
that makes sense.
Like, oh, people aren't searching for Gildan or, sometimes if you have a favorite one, it can be.
Yeah.
But generically and broadly.
That's true. The comfort colors are having a moment.
They are having a moment.
Everyone wants a comfort color shirt.
We love a comfort color.
Like people who I'm like, how do you even know what this is? Are asking like,
So it's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. So between each shop, which one, do you have a favorite shop?
My favorite is the Getaway Gear one, just because it's so fun, right? It's like vacation stuff. Yeah. It's like luxury, just like luxury things, right? So it's the more fun one, whereas Millennial Scribe is more practical.
Sure.
It's more of just like your everyday, like for me, design is very important. And so that was part of the reason why I struggled to find digital notebooks that I enjoyed is because either it was like a maximalist like threw up on this notebook.
Sure.
It was just too much.
Like too much.
Or it just couldn't do the things I wanted it to do. And so for me, like what is practical is also beautiful because it makes you want to use it. Like you can have the greatest productivity system, but if you don't enjoy using it, it's useless.
If you're not motivated logging onto it.
Then you're not going to use it.
Right.
And so, the aesthetics for me was a really big part of it. But from a design perspective, it takes a lot of work on my part to create those. And so I like
it's a heavy lift.
It's a heavy lift. I like using them. I don't really like making them. Whereas I love making the vacation stuff. It's just fun.
But really with that, your digital shop, do people buy multiples on there too?
Yeah.
Like
and what actually helped me a lot with that was doing the Etsy marketing feature where you can not like bundle like in one listing, but where you can do the discounted bundling where if someone buys more than one, they get a certain percentage discount.
Oh, fun.
And we turned that on like 2 months ago and it's been really successful.
That's awesome.
I mean, and it's a no-brainer for us. Like, I don't care. Great. Like, I'm glad.
Incredible.
Again, the profit margin on digital goods is already so high.
Yes.
Taking a 25% cut off of that, it's
to sell more volume,
technically. Totally fine.
So incredible.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, it's neat. Oh my gosh.
And I would say like for me, like one thing I have learned through it is like, just try stuff.
Yeah.
Just like, if you think of an idea, just try it. We have this Hawaiian shirt. And so Jill was like, Jared, you should make a Hawaiian shirt. It's like, no one wants a Hawaiian shirt. That's
Everybody wants a Hawaiian shirt.
Everyone wants a Hawaiian shirt. And so it's it's now like it's not our most, it's our second most successful product this $50 Hawaiian shirt that I'm like, I don't know that I would pay $50 for a Hawaiian shirt.
Is it like a button up?
It's a button up. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's very similar to what I'm wearing now, but instead, like
Hawaiian.
It has the whole thing is an Epic Universe print that I've designed.
And
people love it. And I love it too. I mean, we have one. It's awesome. But I didn't think people would be into it.
Isn't it funny, like what we think is going to happen? I don't know your experience. Sometimes I'll post something on the internet and just in general.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is the easiest piece of content ever going to make.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why did it do so well? Or I'll spend all this time working on this other one. I'm like, this is going to do so great. And it's just like, meh. Like, it's so funny. Like, you just can't expect. I think curiosity, like when it comes to doing anything online and building a business, is like the best emotion to bring to the table.
Well, and you said earlier that your Etsy customer is different than your Amazon customer.
Yes.
And I think this is where that is, because people are going on Etsy and they're expecting custom made or custom design, something that they can't find anywhere else. And they're willing to pay a higher price for it because it is something unique and something
they're
special.
going to be at the park and no one else is going to have it.
That's right. And they expect that if I have a question or a problem, that I can talk to a human, like a real, the person who actually made this thing. Yeah. And so for us, even the customer service part is honestly a blast. Like
really?
We love it. Yeah.
I love that.
Getting messages from people who are like, hey, I saw your listing, but it's not quite what I was looking for. Could you tweak it in this way? And I think 100% of the time,
do you tweak it?
Yes. 100% of the time we have said yes.
So awesome.
I mean, because again, like when you do have these print on demand services, you have so much flexibility.
Yeah.
So like, I can't speak to the others, but like Printful, like if someone orders a design on Etsy, as soon as that order comes in on Printful, I can intercept it and modify the design.
Neat.
I'm sure all these can do this. And so we'll do that from time to time,
incredible.
or like mock something up and send them a screenshot, and it's just fun.
This is kind of like
that collaboration.
When you really think about the collaboration and stuff like that, it kind of reminds me of like Fiverr, which is like service based.
Yeah, totally.
But then like merging with like Airbnb, because it's like that's why people I think go to Airbnb versus like just like stagnant hotels, like an Amazon.
Yeah.
But they go on Etsy and they may be someone that has like a vision but not sure how to execute it.
It's like sure, you can get a shirt on Temu for like $5
and it won't fit right and it's the wrong size and it's the awful material.
So I saw my shirt on Shein.
No.
And so I went to it. I was like, why is my shirt on Shein? I mean, it's my thumbnail. It's everything. It's like
just
mine.
ripped
and
it.
I went onto it, and then you click through the thumbnails and it is a plain navy shirt, but the first thumbnail and the title is mine. And so they're like selling mine, but like if you were to order it, you're going to get a plain navy shirt.
And I really think at this point in the industry, buyers are smart.
They've figured it out.
Like we could harp on the people stealing our ideas and we could harp on all the people that are the way I look at it. I was talking to someone last week about this is like, if you're the true creative, and there's people that copy you, they're never going to get ahead of you because they're relying on you to create the next thing.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's like for anyone on the sidelines that's worried about what if someone steals from me? What if someone copies from me? It's not if they're going to.
It's when. Yeah, especially if you're successful. It's just going to happen.
Yes. I have a membership site and you could join today.
Yeah.
You get 15, 20,000 designs.
Yeah.
We see people join all the time.
Yeah.
Download however much and then just peace. And we bless them out.
Well, great.
You're like, amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. It just happens. And, as long as you stay, I think it's so much easier to stay in the creative flow, moving on versus like harping and, trying to take down and just think that none of this is happening. I think it's so much easier to be like, no, I want to be so successful that Shein does want to take my stuff.
That's exactly right.
Like such a compliment.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But then knowing that the customer is going to see the difference. Like
yes. You have
exactly
to have the belief that the customer knows that you're not losing customers.
And if someone reached out to Shein, what's going to happen? Nothing.
Nothing.
They're not going to respond to you at all.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's a totally different market on Etsy. And that's one of the reasons why we're doing Etsy and not any other platform.
So cool. Okay. What would you say to someone that's like on the fence? They're like, okay, this is really interesting. I really think I could do something out there. What would you say? Would you say just like schedule their sprint, their Etsy launch? What would you say?
I mean, I would say just try it. Like, you know, maybe you won't sell anything, but the cost to entry is so low.
Yeah.
You know, I think what is the cost to start an Etsy shop? It's like
they change.
$30.
It changes.
Well, it does change.
It does change.
Okay.
It can go anywhere from free to $30.
Okay. Free to 30. So anywhere in that range, I think it's worth it just to try, right?
So cool.
And I would say more than likely, you know, at least in my experience, and I've seen some other people, it takes a minute to figure it out.
Yes.
So
there is a messy middle.
There's a messy middle. There's a messy beginning. Where you're just like, I don't really know how to do this and no one is buying my shop. I got 2 views this whole month.
How many listings did you start with?
I think we started with Getaway Gear with 12 listings.
Love it.
And as it turns out, they were all the wrong kinds of listings. Out of the original 12, we've only kept 1 or 2 of them to this day. We've let the rest of them expire.
Do you guys hear that? Do y'all hear that? So many people worry about like, you know, what to do. And like a lot of my clients like to post like 5 and then just stare at them.
Yeah.
Like they didn't work. See, Tanner? I'm like, no, just let's keep moving.
Just keep trying.
You got to keep trying. And as you
there
keep
are
posting,
some designs
you
that I honestly believe in. And I'm like, I don't know why people aren't buying this. I'm going to keep renewing this because someone at some point will see what I see in this. But for the most part, we haven't, one of the, just in life, one of my principles is just don't be precious about things.
Yeah.
If you're doing something and it's not working, stop doing it.
Yeah.
And so I took that same approach with the Etsy stuff where it's like, yeah, these were cool things that I thought were neat, but you know,
no one else did.
And I don't care.
On to the next.
Right. Like it doesn't hurt my feelings. I liked them and you know, maybe something else will be better for, you know, someone else.
So fun.
And the shop is small at first.
Yeah.
So it's very likely that the algorithm's not perfect. And so someone might have loved your design, but your shop was small enough that it just wasn't getting shown.
Yeah.
The visibility wasn't high enough.
Yeah.
That's okay. You can always come back to it. And so that's kind of how I view it too. Is one day we might even bring some of those back.
Sure.
When we get a bigger following.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, did you promote this within your family or like friends or social media?
I don't. Honestly, when you asked me to do this interview, I was like, people might be like, Jared and Jill have an Etsy shop. I don't tell anybody about this.
Isn't it funny?
Yeah.
Listen, I think there's something about like doing stuff just in secret.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't been secret.
Not secret, but like not trying to.
Because it's not for the people that I know really. Like,
which I think is
someone would like it, but
I think it's so important. What I think about this opportunity different than any other like selling your crafts locally or anything like that is that you can be successul and don't have to work with any of the local people, which it's my personal favorite.
Yeah, that's right. Now, I did, like, when I launched actually both shops, there were a few people in my life that I was like, they might like this stuff.
Yeah.
And so I had reached out to a couple of people, mostly just family, and I'm talking less than 5 people, and just said, hey, here's a promo code that I made just for you guys.
So fun.
If you're interested in doing it, this will get it to where it's at cost. It's 50% off if you use this code or whatever.
Awesome.
Yeah. And just to see if anyone did. And, you know, my parents bought like a thing.
Let's go.
Great. And so then I was like, could you review it? Like, could you please
I actually need the review.
Yeah. But I don't think anyone else I sent that to bought anything. And my expectation was this is for strangers on the internet.
Yes.
Like, this is for other people who have similar interests. You know, we're all unique.
I love it.
So like me and my friends, we're different people.
Yeah.
This stuff is probably not for most of them. That's
so fun.
Yeah.
I love it. What would anything else you feel like you want to share about your Etsy shops?
I mean, no, we've loved doing it though. I mean, honestly, it's been a lot more fun than we expected or than I expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jill's probably like, see, Jared?
No, that's exactly how she is. Yeah. She was like, no, the thing that she tells me all the time is 2 years ago, I told you. And I'm like, I know.
And you're like, listen, but look today. Look how great it is today.
That's right. So it's been fun to get to do something together.
So
like
fun.
This, yeah.
I love it. And who knew? I mean, you're the second husband-wife duo that I've talked to recently.
No way.
Yeah, one does the wife does the designing, and then the husband does the fulfillment.
Oh,
and it's funny that you kind of do the designing, and she kind of runs the rest.
She
of the
does
shop.
like customer service stuff. And marketing. Yeah,
super neat.
Yeah,
I love it.
My dad is actually maybe I should just like speak directly to my dad. So my dad is he's been toying around with the idea of an Etsy shop for years. And he's like the most talented guy I know. So I have been like, every time I make like some kind of milestone, I'm like, Dad, I'm telling you, get on
100 sales.
I'm get on
Star
it.
seller.
So maybe one day, I don't know what his shop will be called, but you can maybe have him on the podcast one day.
I can't wait.
So far, he hasn't taken the plunge. I'm trying to get him there.
I mean, you are the walking testimonial right now. Like, this is so incredible.
That's right.
I love it. Okay, before we go, you have to tell us about your YouTube channel and both shops so everybody can check it out.
Okay, so So
just a bonus. Jared has a YouTube channel.
And the bonus YouTube channel. People are like, what? Who is this person? And why is he like doing so many things? Too many things. All right. So we have our Etsy shops, our Getaway Gear Co. is the URL, whatever. And then we have Millennial Scribe.
Link down below.
Link down below. Yep. And then I have a YouTube channel called Digital Astronaut. It is a space YouTube channel.
So cool.
So, and we have an Etsy shop, but we've not like tried.
What? There's a third Etsy shop.
But we haven't tried. That's why I didn't want to talk about it today. We just made it and forgot about it.
Okay, next time Jared's back, he'll have a third.
I don't have time for all these things, and so I was like, this is the one that I'm gonna have to like let go, right? So
not let go, just delay.
It's on the back burner right now. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so I have Digital Astronaut is a YouTube channel where we talk about space and space exploration. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah,
it's so neat. Well, check out his YouTube channl, subscribe. Would you say it's like good content for like their kids?
Oh, it's great content for kids. I basically make it for my kids at this point. Aww. So they'll be like, Dad, can we watch Digital Astronaut? Which is like the greatest thing ever. I'm like, yeah, it's 100%.
I love it.
There's no screen time cap when you're watching your dad.
That's so funny.
It doesn't count. Yeah.
If my kids see me on YouTube, they're like, Dad, that's you. I'm like, yeah, it is. Like, it's such a funny thing.
It's gotten to the point now where my kids have like, they know the terms of the space videos. And so they'll be like, Dad, I want to watch a video about Io or Steeple Mountain or like, STS-88. I'm like, no other 3-year-old knows
I have no idea what
term.
you're talking about.
Yeah, that's right. Like no one else knows this.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for coming on, sharing your whole story and being so open. We always appreciate it. And we love getting to showcase everything. Check out the links down below for all that we spoke about today. It's so fun. And again, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Thanks.